Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I'm super excited to be here because although it's the final few minutes of the show, I still have a lot left to share with you. So please feel free to let us know what you're thinking. You can you can actually drop a comment or let us know what you're thinking about what you're thinking about what we are talking about. All right, so feel free to drop a comment because I can definitely see those comments and I will respond to them and help you out in any way I can. So feel free to do that. All right. And now let's actually, or rather, before we actually head into our conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, text us on 078524743, WhatsApp us and let us know what you're thinking. But obviously, something else that you can obviously do is also to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and also to subscribe to our YouTube channel because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest. All right. Now, something else that you can definitely do is also is also to download our app because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, and you can listen in and share your thoughts and opinions with us because we would absolutely love to hear everything that you have to say. All right, and now let's very quickly talk about this double trouble that we have about how COVID and Brexit is causing chaos here in the United Kingdom. All right, now earlier we were talking about how business leaders, business managers are in fact calling upon the government for the relaxation of visa rules because of the supply chain crisis that we're currently having. Right now, they have stated that this could possibly be Britain's worst supply chain crisis since the 1970s, and they basically stated that if the government continues to go on like this and doesn't really relax any of the rules, any of these, essentially if they don't relax any of the restrictions that are currently in place, this could possibly lead to much greater shortages here during Christmas. All right, so that seems to be the biggest issue right now because last year Christmas was cancelled as well, and this year that could possibly happen if we don't fix this problem as soon as we can. Okay, and it's important to keep that in mind as well. Now, with regard to everything that is happening, the government is under a lot of pressure to relax these rules because they basically stated, you know what, we want you to relax these rules as soon as you can because if not, it's going to lead to a huge supply chain crisis. Right now, there's a shortage of hundreds and thousands of workers to drive lorries to make sure that you get deliveries across. But there's also been supply shortages in terms of food. Right now, for example, McDonald's had to stop selling milkshakes because they ran out of milkshakes, and Nando's had to close about 50 of its shops because of a shortage of chicken. Right, so these are just fast food restaurants at the moment. Now imagine when it comes to Christmas, people are going to be demanding so much more. During Christmas, people tend to spend a lot of money, and they tend to spend a lot of, this is the time when people spend the most, right? So obviously, in instances like that, if you don't have enough money, or if you don't, or rather, if you don't have enough supply to meet the demand of the consumers, then that could mean that a lot of consumers will potentially have to celebrate Christmas without having the things that they want. All right, now make sure to stay tuned because we're gonna head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss this further. So until then, make sure that you stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is in fact the final few minutes of the show, but don't worry because I still have a little bit more left to talk to you about the supply chain crisis here in the United Kingdom and how COVID and Brexit have led to these outcomes, and things could possibly get much worse in the future. All right, so make sure to stay tuned because I would love to share my thoughts. I would love to share my thoughts and opinions with you, but I would love to hear yours as well, right? And let's very quickly head into our conversation because we're going to be talking about how the UK government must actually allow retailers to recruit HGV drivers or even other laborers from abroad at this point of time, because if not, it's going to lead to major shortages, much worse than the ones that we have been experiencing right now. All right, now. Richard Walker, who happens to be Iceland's managing director, specifically said that the UK faced a shortage of 100,000 HGV drivers, right? And this was already causing about 30 to 40 deliveries to its stores to be cancelled daily. All right. Now, the truth is, just imagine if you have 30 to 40 deliveries being cancelled for one day. Imagine within the span of a week, how many deliveries are cancelled. Within just within that span of a week, how many deliveries are cancelled? Because if it's 30, that's about 210 deliveries a week. All right, so if it's 40, obviously it's much much bigger. And the truth is, we really need to address this problem, right? Because if you're having 210 deliveries a day, that or rather a week, that is being cancelled, just imagine closer to Christmas how much more these deliveries are going to rise by, right? Because we know this is the time when people demand the most amount of goods. And basically he said that Christmas is in fact one of the most important times of the year, right? It's usually important because they start to build the stock for December in September. It's August, and it's at least the end of August, and we're already going through shortages in terms of staff, in terms of food, in terms of these deliveries that needs to be made. And it's still just the end of August, it's almost September, and they haven't even started stocking up. They haven't even started stocking up and building their stocks, essentially, right? And basically he said that this is going to lead to a much much terrible situation. And something else that he specifically had to say was that the shortage of drivers, it wasn't in fact an inevitable consequence, right? It is something that definitely could have been avoided. But the EU immigration rules was definitely a self-inflicted wound that was created by the government's failure to appreciate the importance of HGV drivers, right? And he said, and look, I actually I agree to what he's saying as well, because these HGV drivers are so important, right? They should specifically be classified as essential workers, because if it wasn't for them, who's going to make sure that we get our deliveries on time? Who's going to make sure that we actually have food and groceries to survive for the rest, for the next few days or whatnot, right? And the truth of the matter is, the work they do is equally as important as other essential and skilled workers, right? So he's actually called for all of these HGV drivers to be put in as essential and skilled workers, and that if it wasn't for them, that we wouldn't really be able to get through this pandemic. And the work they do is not recognized and appreciated, and rather it's underestimated by our government. All right, now make sure to stay tuned, because next I will be back in a few minutes, and then we will be talking about Afghanistan. And that's an important conversation to have, because there were some bomb attack, or rather suicide bomb attacks last night, or rather yesterday, right? So that's important to talk about as well. And there's a whole lot of significant events that are happening across Afghanistan as well. So make sure to stay tuned, because I will definitely be back in the next few minutes to talk about all of that.